Here today. We're back here in Wheeling, and obviously this has been a very challenging time over the last week and a half. For those who haven't been up here to see it firsthand, really hard to fathom just how hard Ohio County was hit. I know every death that we've had to report, has weighed very heavily on my mind and on all the folks on our team, because at the end of the day, we can rebuild roads and we can rebuild homes. You can't take back the loss of life. And while we're not ready to release the name, we have strong suspicion we have a ninth death from the flood, and that's obviously very disconcerting. So we'll provide more information as it's available. We like to make sure that we're providing up-to-date information that's accurate, so we're never misreporting things. I can tell you that when I visited Triadelphia the day after the floods, I saw the homes that were destroyed. I talked with some of the neighbors. I saw the condition of the roads, some of the bridges that are washed away, the vehicles that are damaged, really the lives that have been torn apart. And I've talked to some of the family members of the victims, and no words can really console them for their loss. And I know that everyone in West Virginia is praying for the recovery of Ohio County. And we are here for you. And we're going to remain here for you to do everything imaginable to help Ohio County, Marion County, all the counties in need. When West Virginia has natural disasters, we step up. There's just this indomitable spirit about West Virginia. And people come together. And they work, and they work, and they put all their own self-interest aside. They step up. So I want to say that while there's some really difficult parts of this, watching people come together and do what they're doing, seeing the coordination between local, state government, county government, our office, FEMA, everyone working together very closely, that warms my heart, because it shows you the power of the human spirit when it's applied the right way. This is an incredible, incredible thing. And so that means a lot to me. It means a lot to the citizens of the state. I know from a state perspective, we've been happy to work to help the local emergency management department, the county, the city as much as possible. We work to take action in swift water rescues, obviously worked with the utility to help ensure that they can restore power and water service. We've been very active clearing roads. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, debris and more, and all with the focus of helping the safety of the residents. And in the days since the flood first started, the long and painful process of recovery has begun. I can tell you that our first responders, wow, they acted heroically. And they often put their lives on the line to help save others. Support and donations have flooded in from not only this region, but from across the country. And that's also heartwarming. Volunteers have mobilized to clean up the mud and to get houses back in a much better place. But the Ohio County communities need more support. And we want to make sure that we're stepping up to do that. That's why on Friday, I requested a major disaster declaration and an emergency declaration from President Donald Trump to unlock federal resources. We know that FEMA has been here and they're gathering information. They're engaged in preliminary damage assessments. I know I mentioned that last week, that we were talking with people. We're still working and talking with people. We're going to press as hard as possible. I would note that if people feel there's still information to share, you can share it, and we'll provide that information, Annie, through the survey instrument by the end of this press conference. We want to make sure that we get all the accurate information. I believe, Lou, we were talking, there were 934 submissions that were made into the file system, and obviously all of us go through all of those to make sure that we're collecting all the data that we need. We know that the National Guard has stood strong, and I'm just grateful for your service. You guys are the best National Guard in the country. I want you to know that, and I'm grateful And I think people know why folks respect the Guard so much when you see the kind of work that they're doing. You guys have overcome a lot of significant obstacles to restore communities devastated by the flood. We know that recovery continues at a strong pace in Ohio and Marion counties. With respect to our Guard, we've had over 115 people here in Ohio County. We have another 10 down in Marion County. There have been about 8,000 tons of debris that have been removed by the Guard, just by the Guard, transported to an intermediate collection site. Obviously, we talked last time about the volume of equipment that we have, and we're going to keep going. In Marion County, we've had a number of dump teams and equipment down there, and we're certainly going to do everything we can to help all of the regions of the state affected by the floods. We know that the Department of Transportation is going to be here for a while. There are a lot of roads that are in a state of disrepair. It's going to need a lot of work. We're going to keep cleaning up and doing road repair. Right now, we have 97 workers from 3 Department of Highways districts. We've removed from transportation over 4,500 tons of debris that have been taken to the landfill. And obviously, there's still some challenges with road closures. US 40, open to emergency vehicles and local traffic. County 25, Peters Run, still open to emergency vehicles and local traffic. And then there are several other roads as well, including County 31, Battle Run, County 7, GC&P and 7. And that's actually close to all traffic right now. And County 29, Dixon Road, open to emergency vehicles. We're going to work as hard as we can to get those roads in good order. There's a lot of work. The shoulders blew out in all those places. So these are not easy road conditions, but we're here. We're going to push. We're going to work really hard. And I've asked Lou, when you hear of things that aren't happening, he's going to call. We're going to try to get it done quickly. That's what we're built for. We want to help the people of this area recover. We know that DNR has done a great job. They're always very involved in swift water rescues and have drones and dive team members that are helpful. I know that they played an important role in some of the search and rescue missions, and I'm thankful to the hardworking folks at DNR. DEP has been very involved, working hard, especially in the debris collection and those sites waiving tonnage limitation and disposal fees. So a lot of people are doing great work, and it's a reflection of the West Virginia spirit. And I know when I think of Ohio County, it's the 4th time I've been up since the flood. I think of it as Ohio County strong. And the county's going to recover. We can't take away the loss of life, but we can be there for our friends, our neighbors, our families, our communities, to do everything we can to soldier on and to honor the people that came before us. But I'm also here today to announce some more positive development. And I wanted to get up here because after I came back last time, I went back to my team and I asked, what more can we do, right? You always want to do more to help the people in need. And after going through Triadelphia and seeing the conditions of those homes, we know based on the survey data, at least 34 homes have been destroyed, if I recall correctly. And there are a lot of people that are going to be out of their homes for a long period of time. The rebuilding is going to take some time. But it's important that people have housing. And there are opportunities for them to get assistance that they need. And so I went back and I asked our Housing Development Fund if there was anything that could be done to provide assistance. And I'm pleased to report that they came back and they had some positive response. So today, I'm announcing that the Housing Development Fund has approved my request to make over $500,000 in funds available to assist individuals and families hurt by the flood in any housing-related expenditures incurred by residents due to the flooding. That could be a security deposit. It could be rent. It could be other housing expenses as well. But it's meant to provide some help. You know, I hope that that's going to be a real boost to help this area. Once again, a lot more resources are going to be needed, But with respect to housing, we want to make sure that we're on top of it. And that's part of the role of the Housing Development Fund. And so I'm glad that they're able to help. This program is going to be used in the counties from now through September of 25. So anyone affected by the flood will be able to take advantage of that. And once again, that's $500,000. That request that I had was just approved this morning. And we have information on our website that we can give. It's actually WVHDR. Is it HDR, Chris? V? Okay, didn't understand the R and the V. WVHDV.com. And if you've been displaced by the flooding and you have problems, make sure you go to that site, fill in the application, and make sure you're in close touch. We want to make these resources available to you. So WVHDV.com. You sure it's a .com? Housing Development Fund? Yeah. Okay. Usually there's government sites. That's why I asked. We'll make sure that this is all right. You just wrote this down because I asked for it before. Okay. So a lot of good work is being done. I'm really excited about the housing development announcement. I think that's going to make a difference. And we're going to keep coming back. I know that we can never fully replace a home that was hit by the floods or damaged, and the personal items. The lives of everyone has been changed forever, but we know that there's strength, there's resiliency, there's courage, there's love in the people of Ohio County, and we want to praise that. West Virginia is a hardy place, and I think we're going to come back better than ever. And I know we're going to be able to come back and rebuild. So I wanted to come up, spend a little bit of time, make sure I got the latest update on the ground, but also to talk a little bit about this important housing project. And we'll be back again and again to make sure that Ohio County rebuilds. So with that, I'd like to see if anyone else would like to have some comments. Luke?
Sure. Thank you, Governor. I can't tell you how appreciative Wheeling and Ohio County is for this. As you mentioned, 34 houses have been destroyed. Over 200 houses are majorly damaged. And FEMA's definition of that is any water that raises to the point that's in the living conditions. So these people have been displaced, and I think this is just going to be a great thing. You said about Ohio County strong. I think we're Ohio County strong because of your leadership. You mentioned the Guard. They've done unimaginable work. The debris you'll see out there today. Our Department of Highways, they have major damage. They've been there from the first. Charlie's been in our EOC all the time. Your DNR, your DEP, the West Virginia State Police, the whole team. We are a team with West Virginia, and we couldn't have done without your leadership and all that resources.
We appreciate it.
We had resources coming in that night, talking to GE's office, Emergency Management Division, and just the support we've received from the state helps our local government and our county government. So I can't thank you enough. We couldn't do it without you.
Look, it's been a great working relationship, and everyone's participating as a team, right? We're Team West Virginia. So we step up. We don't worry about titles. We get to work, and that's what's been happening. So, Lou, you've been doing a great job. I appreciate it. My friend, Mr. Kamish, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, thank you, Governor. Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
I just echo a lot of the same thoughts that the Governor, and I just really appreciate your expediency and what you've done. We had a meeting early on in the process, and he said it's about speed. And I will tell you that the National Guard, thank you to you guys, and I agree, you're best in the country. And the DOH have been phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, they have really been tirelessly working, been courteous, been helpful. Just everybody, all the different agencies. And Lou, we can't do it without you and your team and the EOC and everybody that's been involved in that. Sure. So there's so many people to thank for that, but especially with the housing funds as well. It's probably appropriate to announce too that we've been working the last couple of days on the ovflood.org. It's going to be a landing page where you can get all the resources from all the different links for all the different organizations, everything that's there. Again, it's ovflood.org. And that's something that's going to be live here. If it's not live already, individuals can go and actually resource and look at all the different places that they can get help and support, even fill out the form and so forth and so on. So we just thank you. And I heard a couple of people on the ground, if I've not heard it once, I've heard it several times, is that this, even though it's been disastrous, this has restored people's view of humanity, because so many people have been coming together and helping each other out and being really supportive.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner. Mayor?
Governor, I would just echo the comments of those before me. Your response in particular has been absolutely amazing. You were here less than 24 hours after the storm hit, and we're so grateful for that, because that's made a difference to the Guard, to all those people. I can only reflect what's been said before, but do know that West Virginia and Ohio County have given great example, not only to the locals, but to the nation at large. The only other thing is, please continue your prayers. These families and victims and our friends and neighbors need your prayers. And Governor, thank you. You're in our prayers.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Well, we're very grateful that everyone is here. Once again, there is a correction. That's why I'm glad we checked it. The website is wvhdf.com. That's why I asked, wvhdf.com. And so if you have an application, let's make sure that we get that in, okay? We want people to be able to access the resources they need. I know there are a number of members of the legislature here, delegates, and Senator Chapman. I'm grateful for you for showing support. You guys have been here this whole time. A lot of people from highways, the Guard, across the board. I want to thank everyone in Ohio County and all across the state. But frankly, the response has been amazing. I know we're planning to head back down to Marion County again, too, to make sure that things are moving in the right direction there. Obviously been on the ground there, but we have a lot more work to do. It's going to continue through the rest of this month and through July and into the future. So, but I'm glad that we could make some good announcements today. Housing, I think that could make a big difference. So that'll conclude my prepared remarks, but I'm happy to open it up to media who may have any questions. Jocelyn.
What effect has the extreme heat had on cleanup efforts?
You know, we know that I've talked to the folks in the Guard. This is always challenging because a lot of people, especially those who, aren't in the best of conditions, the heat can really have a very negative effect. I've not heard of many injuries or problems from the heat so far, but we urge people to take care of themselves and be in cool places to the extent that they can in order to avoid heat stroke and other things. That's certainly very, very important. But I haven't heard of any adverse issues yet. I don't know if you have.
No, we haven't had very many emergencies. But I could tell you, when we started getting reports of the extreme heat, we started establishing cooling stations, the Salvation Army, the civics. We actually have, because of the Guard and the Department of Highways and the people out there, residents are not going to stop whether it's heat. They want to get their houses there.
Sure.
So we've been pushing out fluids, water, Gatorade, electrolytes. We've been advising them to take breaks, cool off, come to these cooling stations. So we've been getting out. And that it's not even just in the disaster areas. All the communities in the city and also the municipalities, we have the capabilities of establishing cooling centers if anybody needs it. So that's how we responded to it.
Great. Thank you.
Governor, if you don't mind, I just wanted to ask about the $500,000. How is it going to be distributed to each individual? Is it a stagnant amount, a standard amount, or is it going to be determined on how much damage they have?
It's going to be based on individual circumstances. It's a capped amount, so we have to make sure that we're not spending more than what they have. But obviously, different people hit at different levels. So the object is to help affected families, and so there could be different types of applications. Some just in terms of some of the household expenses and the related matters related to their housing or to rental or to security deposits. So I think it's going to vary. I think one thing that helps is with those 34 people displaced or other people that may also be in need of housing, it gets them on their feet for at least a short period of time. It's not, an infinite amount of money, but it can certainly help a number of the people in need. That, along with a lot of the other volunteer donations that we've seen and support from the local community, I think could make a solid difference. Other questions from the media? Anyone? TRF?
I know you mentioned 2 declarations. Would you be able to reiterate what those were?
I can. Let me go back to that. So it's a major disaster declaration and an emergency declaration that we're trying to use to unlock the federal resources. And we know that there are various triggers that you have to meet in terms of individual assistance. I think that that's an area where we've already been able to document a lot of harm, a lot of damage. And now we're looking at a lot of the other public resources as well, because think of it this way, there are always, I said two, there are really three types of buckets of money that you can get on the flood. You can get the individual assistance to help the homeowner, to help other people in need. You can get the public assistance for some of the infrastructure. You can also have what's called these hazard mitigation program grants, where you can actually come in and mitigate floods for the future. So, but you start by ensuring that you get some of the individual assistance money to help those families. That process is underway. And so FEMA is looking closely through it. And I want to say thank you to everyone who did submit that survey information. I think it makes a big difference. I don't know if you have anything to add, Lou?
Governor, you're correct. We're asking for public assistance, which is basically the city of Wheeling, a lot of overtime or public works, our fire department, police department, any expenses with that, the infrastructure. In Ohio County, our public service district has major problems with their pumping stations for bypassing those pumps. Those pumps will need replaced. They're very expensive. So any damages or any expenses incurred from the flood is under public assistance. Then also the individual, as the governor said, that's why we've been pushing these surveys so much, because we think we have enough to meet the threshold. That's why FEMA's here to verify our numbers, and that's so we could get assistance to all the residents who have experienced damage. What would happen if the president, when the president declares the disaster, FEMA will then come in with all their teams. We will set up disaster recovery areas throughout the city and the county, and that's where the individuals could come in and put in claims for that, and hopefully you get that money coming back to them.
Absolutely. And one other point I would add, that this is an iterative process. So for example, you may have seen that just last week, I made an announcement that the federal government had upped its matching dollars for Southern West Virginia. That's because we followed up. We submitted even more information. We made the argument that the match should be 90-10. Well, that's important. You know, when we authorize the Guard to come, when we have others come, it costs resources. So when the feds are able to share in a higher percentage of that dollars, that of course helps the state. So we're keeping close tabs on that. And that's why it's so important that we constantly update the information with respect to damage, because I'm going to guess, I don't like to guess, but I'm going to suggest, how about that after this process gets through the next few weeks, there might be more information. We have access to information saying, now we've done a broad review of all the expenses we've had, and we might be looking to change matches. We'll look at all different ways we can help West Virginia. I'm always going to stand for West Virginia and try to get as much help for our great state as we can.
One more question. Can you reiterate how many surveys have been submitted?
I believe we said 934. Am I recalling that right?
Really close, 924.
I said, oh, shoot. 924.
I should have slipped that to you earlier, but
I tell you what, this is terrible. No, this is awful. I apologize. I like to give you accurate information. So, but we want more to come in, and feel free to send that in, and we're certainly grateful when we receive that information. Any other questions from the media? Okay. I want to thank everyone, and once again, we're all Team West Virginia. We're Ohio strong, and we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to facilitate recovery. We're going to keep doing that. I urge people to take advantage of the new opportunities in terms of the housing expense assistance. I think that makes a difference, and we're going to keep working on the ground. And my heart goes out, and I think I can safely say the citizens of our state are thinking a lot about Ohio County, Marion County, all the people that were negatively affected in this recent flood, and all those our brothers and sisters in the South as well, who experienced some pretty tough times back in February. We're thinking about you, and we're here to help. Thank you, and God bless.